Okay. So let's move over then a little bit to a little bit of the colder area of the United States we're talking about. And this is for you, Vocal Vike, all right? The Minnesota Vikings, all right? They move Kirk Cousins, obviously. He goes to the Atlanta Falcons. We spoke about that last week. Now Justin Jefferson entering the 5th year of his deal. So the final year of his rookie contract turns down a $30 million year extension. Now, does that mean he no longer wants to be in Minnesota, or does he expect them to pony up and give him the bag?
Listen, first of all, the rumor is they offered him $30 million a year and he turned it down.
Okay.
Right? So if I had to guess, they probably offered him $30 million a year for 5 years. That's $150 million. I think he's learned a lot from Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
And so I think Justin Jefferson is focused on becoming a free agent. He plays this season, he's going to get about $19 million. After that, they can franchise tag him only 2 more times. Right? And what ends up happening is he can hit the free agency market, right? Because here's the thing. He'll play the season. If they tag him the next, he's 1 year away from being free.
Yes.
Right? And now he can really sign the bag. Look at Kirk Cousins. Look at Dak Prescott, right? Those guys that got hit with multiple franchise tags, they're making the most amount of money in NFL history.
Sure.
So I think Justin Jefferson noticed this, and he's saying to himself, either I go where I want to and I'll give them a discount, or I'm going to go get the bag. If I had to guess, he wants $35 million a year for 5 years.
So ultimately, you think you're leaning towards this is just a negotiating ploy. I want basically the max dollars if you want me to stay in Minnesota. Not necessarily that he might want to leave to go somewhere on a team that's going to be more likely to be a contender. Again, when he was playing with Kirk Cousins before, they were a playoff team. They had lost to the Giants the previous year before Kirk Cousins gets hurt. You would think, at least on paper, the way the Vikings looked like they were somewhat starting to turn their season around, that win in San Francisco just before Kirk gets hurt, seemed like they could have easily made a run. Now the NFC North, was obviously very tough this year with how the Green Bay Packers finished up their season. But if Minnesota stays healthy, it's definitely possible they still could have made the playoffs. I'm inclined to think that maybe Justin Jefferson wants to go to a contender and go and obviously look for his bag too as well. Because if $30 million wasn't enough, I think maybe it's the combination of getting with a more suitable quarterback situation. He's used to more competent quarterback play, along with the fact of getting that bag too as well. Could you see any other places that he could possibly end up?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, if he became a free agent, right, obviously I think the whole league is going after him. But I think
especially contenders.
100%. Yeah. But if I'm him, I want to be paired with the big-time quarterback because I think what he's doing is looking at the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase situation and how he has a quarterback that's feeding him and how dynamic
stability
Chase
at that position is
now,
huge.
Don't get me wrong. Kirk was showing Jefferson a lot of love.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
4th and 18. Let me just throw it up there.
Yeah, but it was questionable whether they could win or not. So I think if I was Justin and I hit the free agency market, I'm going after Buffalo, right? You know, that's a great opportunity. Younger, move on from Stephon Diggs. That's a place where I think you'd want to go.
Interesting one.
If I'm him, I would want to go to and a team that could possibly afford him.
Diggs, get whatever you can to get back. You're probably going to give up a first rounder if you'd want to go and get somebody like Jefferson. Yeah. You're giving up a minimum.
But no, let's assume he's a free agent and he can go wherever he wanted to go.
True. Yep.
The
Unless
other
they
team,
tag him. If they tag him,
I'm
they
saying,
still
I'm
have
saying
the
2
right.
years from now, right?
I got you.
The other thing that if I'm Justin Jefferson and I'm 100% a free agent and the place I want to go, I would want to go to the Houston Texans. Right, I get C.J. Stroud. Right, he's on a rookie contract.
They might be able,
right, and so they can move some stuff around and be able to afford him, pay him the bag before they have to pay C.J. the Stroud.
Most of their guys are younger too. Will Anderson's on a rookie deal. C.J. Stroud's on a rookie deal. Tank Dell, Nico Collins. The Texans are in a great situation now. I think their big contracts are Laramie Tunsil is the highest paid left tackle in the league, rightfully so. He's a great player. And then bringing in Danielle Hunter now. That's only 2 years, but you're playing him close to top of the line pass rusher money. But it seems like you don't have a lot of money overall sunk into other assets. So that is an interesting scenario that you do pose.
Yeah, those are the two teams. What about you? Where do you what two teams would either that you think he'd be interested in go to or you would like to see him go to?
Well, I would definitely, Houston I think is definitely a viable one, especially given like how their money situation is set up. And I mean, they're coming in with that royal flush, like I said this year. They look like they're really going for a push at that AFC Championship, if not trying to win on and maximize on a young quarterback in that Super Bowl window, because it's one of the best times to go for it. The other team I could see going for it. They just lost a big-time receiver, too, as well. And a team that's in a little bit of a state of flux, quarterback needing to prove himself, Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't know exactly where their salary cap situation is, but I do know that with Calvin Ridley obviously leaving the books, they do have a void for that type of a receiver to go and fill that spot. Trevor Lawrence is in kind of one of these prove-it years. He had his rookie year, which I think a lot of people don't really hold against him. The Urban Meyer thing was a fiasco. That second year with Doug Peterson, very good. He throws for 30 touchdowns, I think just under 10 interceptions. He's ranked as a top 10 quarterback in the league. Last year, little come see, come saw. A little bit of a mixed bag in terms of the results. So this is kind of like a prove-it year for him because they're going to try and make a decision over this next season as to whether they're going to sink long-term money. Well, wouldn't you like to put a nice stud receiver with him to go and see, maximize the potential out of him? Because Jacksonville's got a lot of pieces. But if you're going to go try and play a quarterback big money, you at least want to try and put the prerequisite things around him to see what he can do when he's at his close to full strength. So I'd say I agree with you on the Houston move. Jacksonville might be a little bit of a sleeper in that sweepstakes as well, though.
Yeah, it's real interesting.